Hello everyone, my name is Gabo and I'm a 3D artist working in the architectural visualization industry, specifically focused on interior spaces. This is a small breakdown of the scene I've been working on, which served purely as an exploration project to test the Vray distance texture map and see how I could create a more natural transition between the island and the sea, while limiting myself to working only with procedural maps inside 3dsMax. The software I used was mainly 3dsMax, Vray for rendering, and Natron for the final compositing. I hope you find the information in this video useful, so let's get started. The scene layout is very simple. I'm using trees, bushes, rocks, and plants scattered with cows scattered throughout the scene. I also use a very basic cube that is serving as the sea material. There's a Vray sun, a Vray sky, and a few mountains I created in Gaia. The Megascan assets I used were just a few rocks. The assets such as trees, bushes, and plants come from Chaos Cosmos, and everything is controlled with different chaos scatters. This plane is being used as the seabed. Honestly, it's very straightforward. It's just a plane with variable subdivision, a material, and a noise map to add a bit of variation. The mountains I made in Gaia are very simple. This is a topic I won't really go into, since you can find plenty of tutorials on YouTube explaining how to create mountains like this in Gaia. Finally, this surface that serves as the seabed or reef material is also controlled with procedural maps and has a conform modifier that takes the shape of the surface below. All the materials in this project are procedural, which makes them very easy to follow. I mainly created a Vray blend material with dry sand and wet sand materials. I learned this technique from Jonas Noel on YouTube, so I recommend checking out his channel as he explains this process in much greater detail. What I did was simply add an extra layer in the self-illumination channel to create fake caustics using the OSL Organic Noise map. The Vray distance texture map, which helps control the size of the reef around the island, is also connected to a noise map, which adds more variety to the texture. The gradient RAM map, which controls the color, I duplicated and used to generate a black and white mask that keeps exactly the same shape. This allowed me to better control its layers within the composite node. The seabed material is just a material with a diffuse channel and an opacity channel. The diffuse channel is a noise map with two colors to add a bit more variation, and the opacity map has 4 different layers set to multiplied mode. These maps allow me to control the behavior of the material much more precisely and give it a more natural effect, so that when all the elements are combined, it resembles a Caribbean island. This effect was exactly what I was aiming for at the end of the project. I'm also using a noise map for the fog depth and fog color of the material. With this, I added more variation to the material and was able to simulate that the seabed depth was irregular. This effect makes it look like there are deeper and shallower areas on the bottom, when in reality it was just a plane with a noise modifier. By blending all these effects and textures, I achieved the look I was aiming for, which allowed me to move on to the next sequences and focus on other parts of the scene, such as the Gaia mountains and the overall atmosphere of the scene. Finally, I worked on the compositing phase in Natron, since it was the software I had installed on the computer I used for this project. Ideally, I would have worked with Nuke, but Natron also works very well for simple sequences like this. The effects I used were very basic, such as color correction, reconstruction of the beauty passes to have greater control over the sequences, and radial blur to simulate a bit of the softening effect generated by anamorphic lenses. I also added chromatic aberration, barrel distortion or pincushion distortion, and a few extra effects like lens flares in the sunset scene. The lens flare nodes are animated and linked together, since I also added a camera shake node to simulate the vibration of the camera in this sequence. I also corrected some issues that appeared in the specular pass by reconstructing the beauty pass. With a few small adjustments using luminance key, I was able to remove only the problematic pixels and continue working with the rest of the composition. And that's pretty much it. If you made it to the end of the video, I hope you find this information useful or valuable. If you have any questions, feel free to share them in the comment section below, and I'll try to reply when I get the chance. Thank you very much and see you next time.